Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 68. Now, before I start this episode, I have to tell you, I may be a little tipsy right now. So, I'm off today and did lots of stuff at home. Then went to band practice. But before I went to band practice, I went to some used record stores, got some used records, blah, blah, blah. Did band practice, went back home, decided to have a drink or two. And after that second drink, I'm like, fuck, I haven't eaten yet. So this episode may be a little tipsy. I apologize if I slur or whatever. I'm going to rewatch this in the morning and I'm gonna go like, maybe I'm gonna be like, what the fuck, Dan? So anyway, and of course I have to have this my friggin' anyway, might as well, fuck yeah, there we go, nice ring. Okay, so before I start off here, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, I got some nice and little subscriptions of late here. So thank you for that. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. So today's episode was a request from a friend of mine, Pascal, here. He's like, Dan, I'm curious to see what your top 20 metal albums of the 80s are. So I'm like, fuck, do I even have top? You guys know I'm more of a hair metal guy. So I'm like, do I have top like 20 albums of the metal, of metal? Well, if I'm taping this episode now, looks like I do. So here's my top 20 metal albums of the 80s. Of course, this how do I say this here? Physical copies only. And I did make myself a rule. Sorry. Let's cure that hiccup with some more booze, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I made myself a rule. To me, Maiden was like kings of the 80s when it comes to metal. So instead of having a whole bunch of Maiden records, I said each band will have a limit of 2 albums max. So it doesn't mean like other albums that they did were bad or whatever. I made the limit of each band having 2 albums max. So, by the way, I guess you guys realize I didn't have a beer anymore. Oh, whatever, I just shaved it off. I was sober at the time. This was done on Sunday. We're Monday night today. Anyway. Okay. So, let's do this now. So, these are my top 20, my choices, favorite heavy metal albums of the 1980s. Now, before I tell you what my albums are, the word heavy metal, like, I had to make a lot of exceptions. Like, you may see Judas Priest, but you won't see Judas Priest Turbo, if you know what I mean. You may see some Saxon, but you won't see Saxon Innocence is no excuse. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's go on with my favorite top 20 heavy metal albums of the 80s. Let's start with the CDs first, since I don't have these on vinyl, apparently. Megadeth, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? Wake Up Dead. My favorite song, believe it or not, on this is My Last Words. I love that song. Like, I ain't superstitious, whatever it is. Ugh. Anyway, good album here. Is my favorite Megadeth album from the 80s. There you go. Another one on CD. I think I've talked about this one here on my channel already. Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith. I mean, I fucking love this album here. Great, great, great one. In the dead of night, love bites. That one there. Plus the Sentinel. I love this album. And my friend Pascal was curious to see what my list of top 20 metal albums is. So maybe a few surprises for him here. Another one on CD, Judas Priest, British Steel. I mean, we've all heard to death Metal Gods, Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight. But you know what? Who cares if you've heard them to death? This was a great, great album. When I heard this, I was like, holy shit. Great one here. So Judas Priest, British Steel. Last of the CDs. My friend Pascal actually introduced me to this band here. So I'm putting Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2. Dr. Steen. I love that song here. March of Time, Save Us. I mean, I like it a little better than Part 1. I'm not a big fan of their long songs as... Whatever, I'm not going to start... There will be a Halloween ranking episode one day there. But I did like this album here. So Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2. I should be getting this on vinyl, I guess, one day. Alright, now time for the vinyls. Yeah. I guess I gotta get the beard back here. Little chin showing here. Yeah. Alright. This one here. Make fun of this band as much as you want. They're kind of a joke right now in the metal world here, but Anvil, Metal on Metal. You know what? I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Anvil, Metal on Metal is a great metal album. Metal on Metal, Mothra, Stop Me, March of the Crabs, Tag Team, Scene. This is great. I like this album a lot, actually. So Anvil, Metal on Metal. There's one of my top... I remember having a huge crush on this singer here at that time. Anybody remember Doro Pesh or Warlock? Triumph and Agony. I bought this because we had seen the video All We Are. I'm like, that's a great song. That friggin' singer's hot. But the rest of the album is actually friggin' good. 3-Minute Warning. I Rule the... Man, I know I've listened to these songs so many times. Here's the back cover here. There you go. Actually, I like this album a lot. Warlock, Triumph and Agony. Great one. And then she went sort of solo. She went solo, but anyway, I don't know what the whole story is behind this here. Another one of my favorite bands here. The Mighty Saxon. This is my favorite Saxon album ever. Saxon, Power and the Glory. Man, do I love this album. Period. There, I said it. Hey, look at this. Another Saxon album. Wheels of Steel. Who does not like Motorcycle Man? Man, I saw these guys live with my friend Kev, my friend Steph, my ex at the time. Motorcycle Man, I'm like, yes, they're fucking playing it. But yeah, this album has Motorcycle Man, Stand Up and Be Counted, 747, Strangers in the Night, Wheels of Steel, this whole album is freaking good. There you go. Saxon, Wheels of Steel. I haven't talked about these guys yet, and I'm waiting for the discography to be fully released on vinyl before I do that. But the 80s were very kind to these guys here. Sabotage, Gutter Ballet. Oh, yes. I love the song Gutter Ballet is one of those songs that I find is an epic song. I remember, man, back then we were going to my friend Eric's house to watch videos, and he had shown me this video, and I was like, oh my god, that's actually a good song here. And I fell in love with Sabotage since then. So, Sabotage, Gutter Ballet, love, the whole Of Rage and War, Gutter Ballet, When the Crowds Are Gone, She's in Love, Hounds. Great album. I can't say enough. You will be seeing a ranking episode of Sabotage eventually. So there you go, Sabotage, Gutter Ballet. When they have it all released, they're really re-releasing them now on all on vinyl. So, speaking of Sabotage, well, look at that. They qualified for the 2 album. So, Hall of the Mountain King. When I first heard, 24 hours ago, I like it. I've just heard it too much. But Prelude to Madness and Hall of the Mountain King, my friend Pascal is the one that told me Prelude to Madness is actually the song, the actual real song from way back, maybe in the 1800s, I don't know. Prelude to Madness is actually the real Hall of the Mountain King. But then Sabotage renamed it. That song there? Apparently it's called Hall of the Mountain King. But they went and redid, well, not redid, they made their own Hall of the Mountain King, which is a friggin' classic. I love that song. In the Hall of the Mountain King. I love that song. Great album right here. So, Sabotage, Hall of the Mountain King, another great 80s metal album. All right. I'm hoping this is going well, guys. I need to go eat something. All right. This one may come as a surprise, but the production is actually kind of shit on this album, but the songs are good. Samson, Head On. So, Hard Times, Take It, oh man, Hard Times, Take It Like a Man, Vice Versa, Thunderburst, you guys got, or is it Hammerhead? One of these, Thunderburst or Hammerhead, I forget which one it was. One of these 2 songs is Iron Maiden's The Ides of March. Who created it first? Who cares? But anyway, you know what? The production sucks on this album. The drum is terrible. Sounds terrible. The drum's actually very tight. But I actually do like this album a lot. So this was a was he called Bruce at the time? It didn't say here. Bruce, yeah, lead vocals. Bruce went on to be the lead vocalist of Iron Maiden right after this. So Samson, Head On. You know what? Ignore the production values on this. This is a great, probably my favorite Samson album, just for the songs. Not production values. The songs work. So here we go. Samson, Head On. This is Thundersticks, their drummer, by the way. I think. Okay, this one is probably the only album from this band that I actually love. They kind of went downhill in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. In the last couple of years, it kind of went back uphill when they fired their singer or whatever. What the fuck happened there? But this album, Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. When I first... So, the reason I bought this was at the time I was reading either Metal Edge or I forget which magazine it was. And it was like the top 10 songs of all time, or maybe that year. And I Don't Believe in Love was there. So I'm like, really? That song's that good? So that's the reason I bought this album. And then I Don't Believe in Love is a good song. Nowhere near the best song on this album. Like, I remember listening to I Remember Now, Anarchy X, Revolution Calling, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like this album here. This is one of those great albums right here. So Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. I love this album a lot. So I guess you can call it smart metal. If that makes any sense. So here you go. Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. Here's another one. All right. I'm already at 16 minutes. I need to eat something. Okay. So, I haven't done a ranking album of this band yet. I've talked about them at the beginning of the show. This album is a very special place in my heart. Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast. This is probably the first. When I make my Iron Maiden ranking episode, I will go into detail how this album is special to me. Okay, so Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast is one of my 1980s heavy metal album favorites. I'm going to save that story for an Iron Maiden ranking albums episode. So there you go. Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast. This is a 1982 original here. So, and of course, I kind of spoil it at the beginning here, but Iron Maiden does qualify for the 2 album. But I think you guys will be surprised with what my second album will be from Iron Maiden. So here we go. It's not Peace of Mind. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is my second favorite 80s. I don't care. There is a musical style difference, but from Power Slave. But man, apart from maybe Deja Vu, there's not a dud on this album. I absolutely love this album. Plus, the album cover is so fucking amazing. So, Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. Man, did we ever have fun in high school trying to find the hidden song titles. Was there an Aces High bar somewhere? Well, yeah, you can see. Well, right here, it's 23:58. That's 2 minutes to midnight. It was an Aces High bar somewhere. I'm not gonna get it. Ancient Mariner Seafood Restaurant. There you go. That's another. Anyway, you can have fun for hours and hours just looking at this album cover and finding some old songs. But yeah, this is my second favorite Iron Maiden album from the 80s. So there you go. Enjoy it while you can. And I'm not making any apologies for it. Okay, this band here also qualifies for 2 albums per band. One of them is on CD. The other one, you might actually be surprised, but Halloween, Walls of Jericho. I'm not even sure if I should say this. This is going to be embarrassing, but the song Walls of Jericho, you know, the da, 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 da. So we used to have, my friends and I used to, this was during exams, by the way, so high school exams. So during our free days or period, we used to play what we call croquet ball. Let me explain what croquet ball is. So it's like a mix of soccer with croquet. Anyway, so we would play croquet ball, And our theme songs when we entered. So, croquet ball is first of all, you have to water your backyard lawn full of water, okay? So you can actually slide. You use croquet sticks, but with a soccer ball, and you I forget how the hell this went. But anyway, all I remember from those games were that Walls of Jericho was our team theme song when we entered the arena, or I should say, my backyard. Oh my god, this episode is gonna be so fucking embarrassing tomorrow morning. Oh, but anyway, this album does mean a lot. I mean, my friend Pascal introduced me to Keeper 1 and 2, but then he showed me this album and Ride the Sky, Guardians, but my favorite, probably one of my favorite Halloween songs ever is Phantoms of Death. Man, did that ever... I love that song. You know what? I'm going to put this as my going to sleep music. I am actually making myself a playlist at night so I could actually go to sleep to a certain playlist. Or this is going to make it tonight. Yeah, you know what? Phantoms of Death. I freaking fucking love this song. All right, I'm saying it out there. So anyway, Halloween's Walls of Jericho. Maybe a surprise to some, but this is one of my favorite metal albums of the 80s. All right. One of my favorite singers, but first, before, oh my god. I need to go eat something, fuck. Okay, one of my favorite singers also qualifies for the maximum of 2 albums. Actually, yeah, you'll see his... So, I'm going with Dio. The Last in Line. This is probably one of my favorite Dio albums. I actually came to like Dio when we got tickets for the Lock Up the Wolves tour, which was canceled here in Ottawa. And now that I know Dio as much as I do now, I'm like, fuck, I would have loved seeing that show for the Lock Up the Wolves, but it is what it is. But my friend Steph had lent me a few of his Dio cassettes, and I'm like, man, this is good. I had no idea what Dio was at the time, but this was one of them. And I remember listening to the song Last in Line at the time, and it goes, a ballad? And he goes, there's no ballads in Dio. Of course it goes into a... But yeah, I love this album here a lot. So Dio, The Last in Line, one of my great heavy metal albums of the 1980s. And of course, since they qualify for 2, can't have this one without the other one. Dio, Holy Diver. I absolutely love this painting, by the way. This is great. They redid them there with remixes. I'm not going to get that. It's not for me. Plus, the paintings suck. I find these ones are so much better here. Dio, Holy Diver, another great album here. There's not a done on this album. Plus, I have the DVD of when he played this whole album in its entirety. It's so good. I prefer The Last in Line because this I've heard to death. Not that I don't like it, but I've heard it so many times that I'm kind of leaning towards The Last in Line. So let's continue the Dio theme, right? Can't have Dio without Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath. This, when I probably started liking Dio back in 1990 with the Lock Up the Wolves when we were supposed to go see them live. And let's try this first. Then I went backwards in time, trying to get everything Dio related. So this one here, and plus that song. Well, Neon Nights is great. Walk Away, but Heaven and Hell. Oh my God, what an epic song this is. But even my brother-in-law is like, Die Young. That's a friggin' song and a half. You know what, GF? I agree. Yeah, there's not a bad song on this one here. This was a Black Sabbath revitalized by the amazing vocals of Dio. You guys might hate me for this here, but I do find Dio to be a better vocalist than Ozzy. But the Ozzy Black Sabbath is kind of more popular, I guess, there. I do have We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. But you know what? You guys have, 65 episodes? 68. You guys know my love of Dio. So Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell is one of my favorite Black Sabbath albums. But you think Mob Rules would be the next one, right? No. Take a guess which one will be my next. Again, this is a twofer. This band qualifies for 2 albums here. So I'm going to put this album as my second favorite Black Sabbath album from the 80s. Born Again. I remember my friend Yan in high school goes, "Oh my God, that song, that album, Born Again by Black Sabbath, sounds like Danzig." So I never heard it. And then on Pepsi Power Hour, they had the video for Zero the Hero. And I was like, how have I not heard this before? That is a fucking good song. This album is... Okay. Ignore the friggin' terrible album cover. Colors, whatever. This is so... It hurts my eyes just looking at it on the screen. But... Trashed, Stonehenge, Disturbing the Priest, Zero the Hero, Digital Bitch. This whole album is friggin' good. So, not just Dio, but this is Ian Gillan from Deep Purple singing on this. You know what? I'm looking at this in the screen here, and this album cover is terrible. But you know what? The music on it is not. If you've never heard this album from Black Sabbath, Born Again, it's heavy, okay? But the songs work. The sound is not great, but the songs work. Check it out, man. It took me... I forget when I first heard this album here, but I still remember my friend Jan's comment, "Sounds like Danzig." I'm like, okay, I won't touch it. Then I saw the video for Zero the Hero. I'm like, you're wrong. This album fucking is great. So, check it out. Last of the top 20 albums. Before... My God, I hope I'm coherent when I watch this tomorrow. It's going to be embarrassing. Okay, so this band has released some classic albums in the 80s, heavy metal. But apparently my favorite is considered the lost album from these bands. So my favorite album from the 80s from this band is Accept Russian Roulette. I actually love this album a lot. TV War, Monster Man, Russian Roulette, Heaven is Hell, Man Enough to Cry. I've cried a few times. Have you? You know what? I don't care if this is considered the lost Accept album. I like it better than Balls to the Wall, Metal Heart, and Restless and Wild. I don't know. I've listened to all of them. This one is actually... Ugh. Okay, this alcohol is getting to... Fuck. Okay, I'm getting the burps here. Okay, anyway, Accept Russian Roulette. This album always intrigued me. And you know what? I heard it, and I was like, Why is this not as much a... God, yes. Let's go, Dan. Be brave. Anyway, considered one of the forgotten or lost album from Accept. But you know what? I know these songs on this album more than I know Balls to the Wall, Metal Heart, and Restless and Wild. I'm not making apologies for this, but this is my favorite Accept album from the 80s. And there you go. Hope you're happy, Pascal. This is your, this is your request, but my favorite heavy metal albums of the 1980s. He's like, I better not say any fucking Winger there. No, Winger, as much as I love them, will be there for another episode. But, yeah, that was my... I thought it was going to be harder. But, I mean, I do like my metal. Maybe I've gone a little bit softer in my old age here. But those albums that I just mentioned, I actually love them a lot. So, anyway, mission accomplished, Pascal. There's my top 20 albums of... top 20 heavy metal albums of the 1980s. So, any more requests? Fucking bring it on, man. Alright, anyway. On that note, looks like I've been yapping for over almost 32 minutes. So, hope you enjoyed this type of content here, or this episode here. Okay, I better fucking end this now. So, thank you for all the lovely comments. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Tell your friends. And on that note, I shall see you next episode. I'm not even sure what the topic is right now. I can't even think straight. So, I need to go eat something. Like, this is bad here. Well, not bad. In a good bad. So. Fuck, every time I do a sip, I gotta do the thing. You have no idea how many people come back to me one-on-one about the ting. So I've created a monster. Alright, anyway, this is the top 20 heavy metal albums of the 1980s. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, tell your friends, and I shall see you whenever. I don't even know. So we're Tuesday today. Yeah, I'll see you Friday. Have a good one, guys.